So coffee has always been a pretty important part of my life. Spent a lot of my time when I was younger going to coffee shops with my mom, or my mom, my grandma, and my aunt. We would always make days out together, and they would always include coffee. And those were the days that I considered the best days of my life. They just felt like they meant the most, and I've always enjoyed the atmosphere of coffee shops. I've just always liked feeling how I feel when I walk in there. It's just always been a place where I feel like I kind of belong in the midst of a world where I never have felt like I belonged. I mean, I'm not really that different. We're all different, but coffee shops are just where I've always felt most connected with myself. There's a lot of other places, but we're talking about coffee, so.
From farm to cup, its potential is completely fueled by passion and dedication, and ultimately the love for what we do. As baristas, why we do what we do is just as important as how we do what we do. It's so much about our heart, and even more heart than it is about the science, which it really takes both to make a great coffee. And the more we put into it, the more we care about what we do and why we do it, the more we can bring out of something so simple. And just the depth and the variety and just the technique that we put into it, from how it's grown to roasted to prepared, is it amazes me, and I'm in love with it. Companies like Starbucks have done an amazing job of automating a process that lets barista come in on day one and make the exact same cup of coffee that somebody who's been doing it for a decade can make. And if it weren't for places like that, especially Starbucks, I mean, they put coffee shops on the map in America, and we got to respect that. But at the same point, that consistency and that automation, and the more you take the human element out of it, and the more you take that manual expression out of it, you really lose a lot of potential. You can create something that's really good and really consistent, that you can get the same drink anywhere in the world, anytime, but you're stripping away that passion. You're getting employees that love the job because it's fun and because there's a great element to it, but I see a lot of that, and I see very little respect and passion for the bean itself, for the product that we make. And really, coffee is it's so much more than just a simple product. It's not just something we make. Coffee is an experience. Coffee is about coming together, whether it's meeting with friends or meeting clients or just going to read a book. Coffee is something you do. It's not just something you have. And that culture, that environment and atmosphere, that's the real beauty of coffee, and that's what I love.
I never thought that I would buy this coffee shop, that's for sure. Buying a coffee shop is something that has always been an idea in my head, whatever it might have looked like. It's looked like a mobile camper. It's looked like building our own shop somewhere in the mountains. But I never quite knew, and I guess this is what it's gonna look like, and I'm really happy with that. It's not what I thought, but it fits really well, and it makes a lot of sense. We have experience working here, and that has really added to a lot of deep conversation and very intentional thoughts about what we would do if we owned it. I mean, it just kind of comes naturally to us. We worked here about 3 years ago for 6 months, but particularly now that we've come back and we've been here for about 6 months again, I think a little more. I mean, from day one, it's like after being back, we can stop ourselves from thinking about what we would do if we owned it, what we would change, what drinks we would add to the menu, what kind of atmosphere we'd want to create. It just came so naturally, and it's here in Minnesota, which is okay. Really, I don't know. No, that's okay. Like, I never thought that I'd end up staying here. I mean, Keegan and I have lived in 3 different states and tried to move to Hawaii to buy a coffee farm since we've been married, and I just never pictured ending up here. But this coffee shop is just such a big thing in my heart. Being here, being what it is now, and all. I mean, I just see this as where we were meant to grow, and I'm really excited to see what it turns into.
For me, there's a lot of personal history here. I moved up, my family moved up to the area around the same time the shop opened, and my first coffee shop experience was here. It was sitting in this shop, and so there's definitely a lot of personal history. More than that, over the last several months and in the time before when we were here, we've worked very closely with the current owner, and we've heard a lot of their heart and a lot of, their ideas, and we've helped them do what we can. There have definitely been some struggles that they've had and that have kept them from fulfilling the potential, and there is so much potential here. And like Alyssa said, we've talked so much and so deeply about what we would do and what we see that could be done, and how can we not do this? How can we not take advantage of the opportunity to buy this and really push that potential and really create this, turn the shop into what it's really meant to be, or that it can be.
I'm definitely excited to just be able to make it look like Keegan and I's shop. I'm excited to put our personality into it. That's going to come in a lot of different ways. That's going to be the drinks that we add to the menu, the color we paint the walls, the way we run things. Just basically just excited for everything. I want people to walk in, and I want them though to have a part of us when they come in. It's going to be our shop, and in all possible ways, I want to be able to express that. I want to show people little pieces of us through whatever it may be. Also, I really like the idea of being able to work with employees in a more personal way. Just kind of being employee to employee. I mean, I don't know. You can talk, but you can't really. I can't tell them what to do because I'm not the owner yet. But I really look forward to being able to make sure that they feel happy there and that they want to be a part of what Keegan and I are doing. I want to be able to offer them whatever I can. Try to give them a consistent schedule if that's what they're looking for. Give them the time off that they need, and just really be able to be there for them. I mean, Because I know that in the times that I've been an employee at the few jobs I've just felt like I could have been a little more cared about being an employee. And I just look forward to being able to really hopefully make the employees feel like they're cared about and like they have a good job and they can be happy at their place of work.
I've been working in the industry for almost a decade now, and I've worked at 4 different shops. I've worked at this shop twice. Worked under a big variety of ownership. I've seen a lot of different things. I've been involved in everything from roasting and buying and management and all this stuff, and I've seen so many different things, and in our travels I've seen even more that I never really saw, and it's fueled my passion so much to see all these possibilities and see what you can do. And so for me, the biggest part of owning the shop is really being able to explore the potential and the possibilities of what a coffee shop can really do, and what kind of, not only what solid consistency, what kind of business can we really truly develop, but also how far can we push the envelope, how far can we play with these things, and what kind of crazy fun unique stuff can we come up with. And really at the same point, another part of our heart comes into definitely environmental impacts and stuff of an industry that really, as an industry as a whole, it's really does create a lot of waste. And it's a industry based on imports, and so really trying to do everything we can to look after the environment and the farms and the really just the earth, and how it's how we can reduce our footprint in that, and just really put the honor into what we do, and really this respect for what we do. And I think that also has a huge part to do with it.
All of it is God. None of this would be here if it wasn't for him. I would not have come back to Minnesota if life didn't go the way that it did. And it was so crazy that it was only God who could have ordained it. A lot of you know that I went to New Zealand. We both did, for mission work, and through YWAM, and that changed my life tremendously. I have never been full of so much joy in my life. I learned so many new things about God. I fell in love with people, and I fell in love with life, and just saw so much more beauty in anything that I ever had. And that's a part of me now, and that's how I still view things. But when I did come home, it was very different. I mean, life in New Zealand was specifically a mission-based thing. It's every day was learning about God through speakers, and having an endless amount of time basically to just read and grow your own personal relationship with God. And you know, then you come home and things are a little bit different, you know. There was a question of if I was going to get a job and how quickly that was going to be. There was, you know, reuniting with family, and not that any of this was bad. It was all good. I was happy to be back, even though I still ask myself to this day, oh, why did I ever leave? But the realities were just very different. And it was hard, very hard to feel like I was the same person, like I could have that same joy and experience I did over there back where I was. So all that being said, coming back was just so hard, and I feel like I lost so much of who I was and what I learned. It felt like it didn't exist. I tried to feel connected to God again. I read the Bible. I read the whole Bible, which I hadn't done up until the point I did while we were in Tennessee, thinking that, you know, okay, well, this is something, maybe this will help. I was just so desperate. I was doing anything I could to feel God again. I felt like I didn't feel Him. It's like He wasn't there. He wasn't the same. The way life was, the things that we had to do things out of necessity because we couldn't do anything else. We ended up losing our money after we went to Hawaii, and we had to be in Tennessee because we had nowhere else that we could go, and it was just so hard to see Him. And for the first time since then, it's been 4 years now, I think, maybe more, since we've been home. And for the first time, I feel Him again. I see Him in my life. I have seen the steps that He's led us to, the things that we've done, and how they've all led us to here. I mean, for the first time in forever, when I hear worship music lately, I want to cry. I feel truth in the words I hear, in the scriptures I read, in the life I'm living. I see Him. It feels connected. It feels like purpose. There's no doubt in my mind that this is going to happen, that it's going to be successful, because this is not mine, this is His. God laid the coffee industry on my heart forever, and this is what it's going to look like right now. This is where it starts. My life is going to change at this point. It's just here. This is just it. You don't have to take my word for that. You don't have to believe me. But you're wrong if you don't, because I just know that this is what He has made for us to do. And I'm just thrilled to be able to be a part of His story in this way, in a way that is something that means personally so much to me. And that's all that I've ever wanted. And to be able to do it with my husband means the world. That's all I ever wanted to. And we have it. This is what this is going to give us. Because God is a really good God who cares about us and knows our hearts because He created them. I started it.
For me, this is all God. There's really no delusion in my head that we really have any part of this. This is completely by God. Even getting as far as we have in this, meeting the owner, the fact I got a job there in the first place has all just been, you know, this path that God's put us on. yeah, I know that I couldn't do this alone. I know that, you know, I don't have the, I mean, I certainly don't have the finances to do it alone. I certainly don't have, you know, I've got some experience and I've got some knowledge, you know, I've got my, you know, my business skills that I got in college. I've got things like that, but on my own, I know I can't do this. My entire adult life has been on a path towards this. Yeah, I was 16 when I really started to see coffee shops, and you know, I was working towards being a youth pastor. That was kind of my thought, but I couldn't get away from the fact that, you know, the atmosphere and the, you know, the culture of the coffee shop was, it was this amazing outlet. It was this place where real life happened, and that it was something that God could ultimately use for amazing purposes. And you know, in our travels, we've seen a few places that are doing that, and it's amazing. And so that's definitely a big part of my heart, is, you know, just infusing God into everything that we do there, and giving to God and trusting in God in all of it. You know, my first real job was in a coffee shop, and you know, I found out about a shop that was opening through people at church, and you know, and connected with the owner through that. You know, it was through her that I ended up going to culinary school and learning everything that I did about running a business, and you know, and cooking and all that stuff. And you know, it's not that, you know, my heart was in being in a restaurant or anything, and I learned that really quickly, but turning around and seeing what I could do in this industry, you know, that's always been a huge part of my heart. And you know, I lost my way along the way, and yeah, I kind of wandered for a while after that. I didn't know what I was supposed to do or things. And in that wandering, ultimately God brought me back to Him and back to coffee. I you know, took up residence with my dad, and I was, you know, doing the whole sustainable farming. You know, I was going to live off the land kind of thing, and I didn't really have much relationship with God at the time, and I wasn't really looking, you know, I was, my mind was in the farm. I wasn't thinking about, you know, jobs and things like that. But, you know, just through a conversation with the owner of a local coffee shop, I ended up being asked to work for them. And through working for them, you know, I got back into the church and back with God. And you know, ultimately through, you know, having coffee with someone at the church, I ended up, you know, pursuing my interest in missions, and that led me to New Zealand. And you know, that was a life-changing experience. And much like Alyssa talked about, you know, it was this amazing, mind-opening experience, and it was just this spiritual experience that really you can't describe unless you've been through it. And even through that, I mean, everything was focused on God and everything was about God. But you know, one of the major keys or themes throughout the whole thing, and just one of the things that really drove my passion for God through it, was talking to Alyssa about coffee and about how we could do coffee in a way that, you know, really truly gave everything back to God. And you know, it's taken us a while to really put a picture to that, but I really believe this is it, and I really believe that we can do so much through this shop, and that God's calling us to so much through this shop, and that we have really been prepared for this throughout our whole lives.
So, we need $500,000. Wow. I know that's a lot, and it sounds like so much just for a coffee shop, but it's really more than that. We are hoping to purchase the whole building that the coffee shop is part of. It is a little office space that we believe we could really utilize to help grow the business more efficiently and quicker. Yeah, it's so much more than just the coffee shop and even the building. I mean, this is just the rest of our life. Everything that we do is going to come from this, and we believe that having a separate office space to really be able to care, have a space set apart to really care about how we do things, and just have a space where there's time and the atmosphere is, you know, made for really thinking about the business and about our blog too. That's something that we don't intend to give up on, even though we have given up on it in the meantime. So yeah, we know that it's a lot, but just know that it's more than just buying a business of the coffee shop.
Yes, aside from the office and potential expansion into the space as well in purchasing the building, I guess the breakdown of it is we have a $25,000 down payment on the business itself that we've already borrowed money for. We need to come up with another $25,000 as a down payment for the building itself, as well as needing some money for startup costs, equipment purchases, things like that. Probably roughly about another $5,000 in all that. Grand total, we need $70,000 to pay off the business. The building itself, depending on how negotiations go with the owner at time of purchase, we're looking at another $400,000 to $425,000 for that. That's a lot.
Can't do it without you. Or God.
A lot of our heart in this is just trusting God and believing that this is coming from Him, and part of what we feel Him leading to do is to ask you to help us. This is, this is more than just us buying a shop. This is about God. This is about really an extension of the body of Christ and the community of that.
I really believe that it's His calling for us, for our life. This is what He has intended us to do from the very beginning. This is why He brought us together, and it's just really awesome. We really do have faith that this will be fully funded. I've never had $500,000 in my life, nor anywhere close at all. But like we keep saying, this isn't ours, this is God's, and we believe that it's just gonna be fully funded because of that. Because we believe that He provides for what we need. And you know, if you feel a connection to our story, to us, if you enjoyed the video, you know us, you just anything that you can donate is immensely helpful. Don't feel like if it's $5 it doesn't matter, because it really does. We have recently had the opportunity to donate to a couple people that we have felt led to. Even in the midst of all of this, you know, helping people out with what they really believe they're supposed to do has always been something that's close to Keegan and I's heart. And they're both doing YWAM adventures, and I thought that's where we were made. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that. So we, you know, we do, we're not just asking for help. I mean, we help too.
So yeah, we are, you know, still pursuing, you know, more traditional options as we need to. But even then, I mean, if we, you know, even if we are able to borrow the money we need and whatnot and consolidate the debt and make it, you know, more easily manageable, a big part of our heart with this is to really utilize, you know, a part of the profits to give back into, you know, give back to God, and to, you know, reach into our, you know, our, I guess, our community. And so with that, definitely donating to people like this, and giving back to the, you know, we want to give back a section to the Backpackers Ministry where we met. And really, I mean, we, you know, even from day one, our goal is to set aside that portion and to give from that. But, you know, it's really until, you know, this is funded and the debts are paid off, it's really not going to be a lot. I mean, definitely any little bit we can give, we will, but, you know, we can't really truly give of this until that's gone, and we believe that this is the way that's going to happen.
Another big kind of foundation for us owning the business, owning the building, and creating whatever else we can from it is, you know, the fact that we're doing this as a married couple. I don't know about you, but when I hear people talk about marriage, I often don't come across people who can express it in a positive way. Not that it's bad for everybody, and not that the people who express negative things have a bad time and have bad relationships, but it just always seems to me that the first things that often come out of people's mouths are about, oh, you're gonna get tired of them. Oh, you guys are gonna, you know, after that 3-year mark, you know, the honeymoon phase is over, and, or wait, it's actually 2, whatever, but it's just, there's just a lot of jokes surrounding the negatives of marriage, and I hope that we can portray the opposite side of that as a married couple, as doing this together and being a part of it, because I'm not saying that it's all easy, I mean, but, you know, we've always wanted to live our life together, even before we knew each other, wanting to do whatever it was we were going to do as a married, with the person we married was it's just what we always wanted, and here we are doing it now. And we just really hope that we can, you know, show people a really healthy and happy and positive side of that. We just really hope that people can see the reflection of Christ in our marriage and in our relationship, in doing this together as well.
Definitely, you know, I spoke earlier about you know, moving to the farm and stuff like that. And, you know, that was always a big part of my my belief with that was, you know, looking at marriage and looking at, you know, how basically what it would take to actually be with the person I married. You know, life's so many couples have these lives that, you know, they not necessarily, you know, are running opposite, but, you know, they have these separate lives, and, you know, that works for a lot of people and that's okay for a lot of people, but that's never really sounded okay to me. That's really never been what I wanted out of my life. And so, you know, in pursuing all of that, it was always about, you know, preparing a life that I could spend with my wife, and that's part of the reason, you know, definitely the main reason we want to do this and do it together is because we want to live that life together. We're definitely very committed to that, and, you know, even without this, I mean, our entire marriage, we've done everything we can to stay on the same page and stay together. And, you know, so this business and this office and all the stuff we talk about, it's, you know, it's more than just creating a business. It's about expanding our relationship together, and it's about going deeper in our relationship with God and living a life that is focused on that, and where that is our central aspect, that's our central goal, is to, you know, be together and to be with God and to live life like that.
Guess we'll have to cut this part out. Coffee shops. Coffee stops.
Yeah! I got tongue-tied.
Tongue-tied.
That's what I love.
I love pink drinks.
She's a punk.
We'll see if we can make sense of this. But let's see how that goes.
Yeah. I mean, you said everything.
Your hair's flowing.
No, blah, start over.
Bleh. Not whatever it may be. The decor. I just keep saying that word decor, and it's just weird. Because I'm like, what? There's tables and couches, which, okay. But no, that's okay. We can. Wait, no, I'm not done. There's also a second part. Did that sound good?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Blah. Let's just stop. I don't know.
Coda likes my bun.
Huh? Do you like Hedgie better, or do you like your ball better? The audience wants to know. Where's Hedgie? That is Hedgie. Good job. That is.
Why don't you sit in the chair with Hedgie? Sit in the chair with Hedgie. No. You want to sit in this chair with Hedgie? Is that what you want? Coco, are you sleepy? Oh yeah, you're really sleepy. That's good for once. It's recording. Hi. Who did that? sunset in the Seattle airport.